So hi everyone, in another partnership chat here. My name is Stefan, I'm the CEO of Loncom Consulting, and today we want to highlight an amazing partnership that we have with Inventory Planner. So I have Harvey and Ollie here from Inventory Planner. So guys, please introduce yourself and Inventory Planner in short.
Hello. My name's Ollie and I'm the partner manager for Inventory Planner by Sage.
Hey Stefan, thanks for having us on. I'm Harvey, I'm one of the solution consultants here at Inventory Planner.
Thank you very much, guys, for that intro. But yeah, tell the audience, then everybody listening here, what really is Inventory Planner? Although in my opinion, I think it's quite self-explanatory what it says, in the name of the company. But what do you exactly do?
Hey, so look, if you own a store, whether it's be an online store or a physical store, it can be really tricky to keep track of all of the products that you have and how much you need and when to reorder them, things like that. So Inventory Planner is a software platform designed to help businesses manage inventory efficiently. So what we're looking to do is to eradicate things like overstock, which is buying too much of the wrong stock, which can really impact your cash flow, or not buying enough stock either, meaning that you're stocking out and you're missing out on revenue opportunities and you're upsetting customers. Another thing to go back to the overstock situation is that we found on average the retailers write off 15% of their stock every year, which is, it never needed to be manufactured. It never needed to have been shipped. It never needed to have been stored. We never had to worry about that 15%. But yeah, people are overstocking a lot. And we see various shifts from business to business, whether they be buying too much or buying too little. So our platform makes it really easy to optimize those inventory levels.
Yeah, I think from our point of view as an operational data analysis company, we are very vocal in saying a lot of e-commerce brands, a lot of retailers, in my opinion, constantly push marketing. But what does that marketing do if somebody lands on that product on an e-com site and the inventory is not there, the sizing is not correctly kind of bought all together? So I think really the power of that Inventory Planner, it gives back that insights of inventory and what's going on. And when you wrap it together with the marketing and all the activities out there, it's just a very powerful combination, isn't it? And that's what we find. And we're going to talk later in this recording about why did we partner up and things like that. But that was like such a clear thing. And we are especially in Loncom, very vocal about, there's this operational part that you need to take care of, because it doesn't matter how much you put into marketing, doesn't matter how much you put into, the product also, if the operations don't work, the overall business won't all together. I'm also interested in where you're currently with Inventory Planner, right? So if any of you listening to this Google Inventory Planner, you're going to see, in Sage, quite a big company as part of, Inventory Planner being part of it and so on. And you've been here for a while now, I would say, as Inventory Planner. Where are you currently in that journey? And potentially, can you disclose some of the challenges as a tech platform that you're having in the space?
Well, one thing that you said that was really interesting just then, Stefan, is that you'll find people Googling these solutions. I'd say stop Googling software. This is something that should have been taken out of people's minds around, at least kind of five to 10 years ago. We're living in a different economy now, where if you start to Google things, you're just blasted with loads and loads of options and sponsored links and companies claiming they can do one thing when they're actually another. And it's just a real kind of, it's just really murky and really unclear. What you want to do is speak to experts about these solutions. Speak to people like yourself, Stefan. So if anyone's thinking about Googling platforms, don't. Speak to Stefan.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. That's a good
great plug.
It's an interesting, so just quickly on a little bit of the journey. So me and Harvey, we were originally working for Brightpearl, and we still do. We work across both the platforms. So Brightpearl is an ERP built for retail businesses. And then we acquired Inventory Planner because inventory forecasting is a section of kind of ERP and the back office as a whole that the ERPs kind of struggled to get right. So I was going to say about the landscape of the industry, really, in that it's actually a lot more of a competitive landscape for inventory forecasting. But because we're basing it off the reputation of Brightpearl, it's the same team. We've had we've always been very partner led. and we're very accessible as a team, we're very visible as a company. We hope that we can we work with our kind of ecosystem of partners to be a solution of choice within our field.
Yeah, and just some history for like the relationship between sort of Brightpearl and Inventory Planner. So I've worked at Brightpearl for just over 6 years. We've always sort of worked with Inventory Planner. So initially when I worked at Brightpearl, it was on a very much partnership basis. We understood the value that Inventory Planner could bring for customers. And we've always had that sort of best of breed approach where we just enable customers to bring in platforms into Brightpearl. And then in 2021, we acquired Inventory Planner and sort of brought that in-house because we understood the value that it brought. So from then on, it just falls part of the sort of full Brightpearl ecosystem. But also as a standalone solution, it's that good that it can just plug into ERPs, other order management systems as well.
Yeah, I think what I definitely want to the audience out there listening again, saying there is this wider ecosystem that brands might not be aware of what is happening in the industry. They might just see, their PPC agency, their tech platforms, but in reality, we are all working together. We are all trying to improve ourselves because straight away, then we can provide all the better value. So now when you mentioned, combining an ERP like Brightpearl, Inventory Planner, the wider ecosystem, including us and other companies that are working with you, I think it's just a beautiful story. And really to the brands listening out there, we do talk outside of your work and things like that. When Inventory Planner or potentially a partner is working on a client, you do communicate, right? You are here as a partner managers, you concentrate to improve, understand solutions and so on. And it's just much faster, isn't it? When we work on clients together, rather than going through a client to get to you, I go straight to you, right? So that chain of communication is just so much better, which is definitely a result of that ecosystem, I would say. I'm interested now, we constantly see when we work with brands is a problem with inventory, right? Especially when there are new product launches, existing inventory is not forecasted correctly. What is it going to sell in the next year and things like that. So how do you resolve that problem with Inventory Planner? And what is, apart from all of that, what is your main selling point?
So we look at purchasing in sort of two different ways, and you've touched on both of them there, right? So there's the piece where you're replenishing stock. So they're existing products you've got historical data for. We can then essentially utilizing the number of different forecasting methods that we have in the platform, build a forecast for that. So within there, they're quite complex, right? But you've got seasonality forecasting, you've got year-on-year growth, you've got stock out data. So there's loads of cool settings that we have to make sure sort of the forecast that we build is accurate. The second piece of that is the more demand planning aspect of the platform. So that's when you haven't got historical sales data against the products and they're sort of brand new items that you're launching. We've also got some really cool features around linking products together, but also the ability to build reports to understand sort of size curving, also what the best selling colors are, stuff like that at the product level. Mm-hmm. So when businesses are making these brand new purchasing decisions, they've got data behind that, right? So they're not just completely guessing the weighting of purchasing. They can use that data to drive them decisions. So both of them aspects are certainly sort of areas that we cover. And our largest industry and our largest sort of vertical is the fashion apparel industry. And as I'm sure you're aware, right, the majority of their revenue comes from brand new items. It's not replenishing stock. So that sure shows the capabilities of the platform with giving that the visibility for the brand new purchases.
Yeah, I think so. I did recently a video on decision making, right? And how do you make a decision on, let's say, buying or any other kind of business areas? And I'm a big believer that there's three key components in it. It is the gut feeling, market research, and data. So those are kind of the three. We can look at football, which I always give an example, scouting, managers' gut feeling, and then you have data the statisticians are putting together when it comes to football players and so on. I think a brilliant thing is that Inventory Planner is really bringing that data into that decision. But my question here is in something, again, we see constantly when we do our reports where we present what should the buying look like for the next season, let's say in an apparel business. How do you gain that trust, right? We're talking here, let's say somebody implements Inventory Planner 3 or 5 years down the line in their business. How are you going to tell them that they should listen maybe more to you than their gut feeling that they've been relying on so much in the last, since they started the business or since they've been in a role? So do you tend to, when you work with customers and partners and so on, need to work on that trust issues, let's call them like that? Or do you think that that's something very much neglectable when they make that one decision and then it's a good decision, you guessed it quite correctly on the inventory stock levels for the future, and then they just kind of get hooked on it like an addict, and just keep on using it and using it? How do you find that?
It's very much a trust building process, right? So we obviously see ourselves as experts in this industry because we speak to businesses and partners on a sort of daily basis around these challenges. So we do like to see ourselves as experts, but also when you're speaking to partners and prospects, it is about building that trust. Yeah. So we do go through a very sort of deep implementation process when we implement businesses onto Inventure Planner. And a lot of that is going through that configuration of the platform to make sure the forecast that we're building is accurate. But the main piece for that is also change management and really sort of making sure the businesses understand exactly how to utilize the platform. Because what we see is if businesses just implement something like Inventure Planner on their own, if they don't fully understand it, within a couple of months, they're not going to be able to be fully optimized on that platform, and they'll probably go back to their previous forecasting on spreadsheets just because they know exactly how that works. So it is a lot of a process to make sure that they understand and trust the platform, but also that implementation fills a big part of that.
Yeah. And what would you say is the most used feature of Inventory Planner, and what do you think? Why is that feature the most used one?
I mean, it would definitely be the replenishment report, just because that is the reason that businesses would invest into Inventory Planner.
Yeah,
100%. That's the primary reason that business would use it. However, our biggest probably differentiator against competitors is the reporting aspects that we have. So I've briefly sort of touched on it with that demand planning and like the assortment reporting that we can do. What I haven't touched on is like the marketing aspects of the business. And you sort of mentioned it earlier around these businesses. A lot of them, if you just search for a specific product through Google, if you select one of the ads, it'll probably take you to a website with that item that's out of stock, or it hasn't got the size that you need, or anything like that. So what we also have in the platform is a marketing aspect, which can pull in data from Google Analytics, TikTok, Meta, all these different platforms to make sure that actually if you are purchasing these items, you're also factoring all of these marketing spend, etc., into that calculation as well. So replenishment is probably the most widely used, but the marketing features that we're adding are pretty new to the platform. So I think based on the trends that we're seeing, that will definitely become a major part of the platform going forward.
Yeah. No, absolutely understand. I think the worst thing also from, CRO perspective altogether, the worst thing, somebody lands on the website and you can't convert at the end, and it's not converted into add to basket or, the checkout altogether and so on. So that's also very important. Coming back to my point that branch, in my opinion, should be looking more also at the operational part, because I sometimes feel that it's constantly like marketing, but you don't look at the wider picture of the business and everything that it holds. Also, if the customer doesn't get it or gets it in a bad shape, that's also a bad thing about the business. Might not be as upfront until a review is there, that something is going bad, but that operational part is something we are also very vocal about. We always say to the branch, is it really that you have to send this email marketing segment to 5,000 people if you have 300 in stock? What if it sells out after 3,000 people viewing the email? What are we doing with the other 2,000 landing, and what is going to happen from there? So just like those examples, I think Inventory Planner can go quite well in, because you can then look at what is your marketing email agency doing? What do you have from the inventory, and how do we put this together to make a decision? What should we do, and things like that?
Yeah, for sure.
For us, I think, so just to also put it out there, cold LinkedIn outreaches still work, because Ollie, you did one to me, right? And we're partners now. So that's how it all happened. I think you saw something like me posting on LinkedIn, being part of the ecom community and things like that. So you reached out, let's grab a call. I, straight away saw Brightpool. It's a good, I think, brand. And then definitely wanted to reply on what's going on. Then we talk about Inventory Planner. So for us, it was absolutely a no-brainer, being so niche in the industry, focusing on inventory metrics, focusing on data analysis behind, focus on the systems implementation to support all of these activities when it comes to reports and dashboards. So I think overall, the partnership, it was so easy for us to make it, and thank you for that. But secondly, I think overall, it's just a no-brainer from at least our perspective, but I would like to hear your thoughts about that.
Yeah, I think it's one of those ones that's just, it looked good from the outset, and the more that we kind of dig deeper, like the more relevant it gets, really. Just from looking at, having conversations with yourself and reading your case studies and things like that, it's like we are in the same, we're having the same conversations. We want decisions about inventory to be not based on a hunch. We want to take away kind of manual business reporting, because obviously that can be inaccurate and really, really timely. I mean, if you read any of our case studies, lots of them lead with saying how many hours we save these people a month. You go into things like a not defined buying process and unstandardized product taxonomy, things like that. That's all things that we can incorporate as well. And yeah, lots of inconsistent, you're dealing with inconsistencies in the back office, and that's what we're trying to do as well. We're trying to optimize inventory.
Yeah, absolutely. I think absolutely a no-brainer from at least our perspective, and I'm sure from yours. And I think what moving into kind of more of a, I would say, concrete and defined partnership altogether is just going to make us again stronger in building that ecosystem around those brands. So overall, in my opinion, the future of it is very bright. Reason being, we are very vocal about the things you're doing, and you can definitely support all our activities. So the idea altogether is, first to implement the inventory planner, run a managed service on top of that, and have that view of your reports, of your dashboards, of the whole inventory planner as a data analyst. I think also that's quite unique in the industry.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Guys, we are going to wrap this up very quickly. And I have 3 quick questions, which are going to kind of be a theme of these partnership chats altogether. So this can be an answer both from your business experience, partnerships, industry overall, personal, whatever you basically want. I'm just interested because at the end, we're going to put this clip together of like, what did the people say with all our 20 plus partnership chats on all of these 3 questions. So the question is, the first one, if you had a magic wand, what will you change?
Is this me or you, Harvey?
This is you, Ollie.
Okay. So first thing, inventory planner is only available in English. I'd like to see it available in lots of different languages. And then also integrations. We have lots of plug and play integrations, but there's always more technologies that are coming out that we'd like to integrate with through like a plug and play integration.
Yeah. Do you mind me also asking then, so if you could have chose a language, which one would it be?
Good question. I'll go with French.
Well, good market opportunity for sure. That's for sure. Okay, cool. Thank you for that. And then, Harvey, now I'm interested because you work quite a lot with customers directly and so on, and part of the team in inventory planning that handles customers. What is the coolest project you ever worked on?
So I think probably the coolest one would be a brand called Roker London. Okay. So I don't know if you've heard of Roker London. They're a sort of backpack reseller or a designer and brand. Really cool brand to work with, really great people, really switched on. They've built a really nice tech stack. So we initially implemented Inventory Planner into their business and sort of solved a lot of their inventory challenges. They had a few overstock issues, I'm sure they won't mind me saying, but we've really sort of optimized their stock levels now. And then to the point where actually they then took on Brightpearl. So they really enjoyed Inventory Planner, the implementation, the actual software. And now they're implementing Brightpearl as well into their tech stack as well. So using sort of Brightpearl Inventory Planner alongside Shopify is a perfect tech stack in my eyes. So that's probably the coolest project.
Cool. Now, I think it's just a brilliant also example of the ecosystem that we previously mentioned here and so on. And, you buy into one software, then you see an opportunity with another and so on, and everything kind of as a result of making that brand more data-driven, more systems-driven and so on. So absolutely, I can understand why was it one of the coolest projects you ever worked on. And then the last question that I have, and I need your both opinion on this, what's hot and what's not?
So I'll go first. So am my hot and not's kind of linked together really? So hot, I can't believe we're still saying this in 2024, but visibility of data. Almost 50% of companies in our ICP are still using spreadsheets to make these decisions, and you just don't get the visibility of data with the spreadsheet than you do with a platform like Inventory Planner. And that leads to what my knot is, which I think I brought up in my intro earlier on, was and I don't blame the merchants for this. I blame them not having a platform to be able to make these decisions, which mean that they are overstocked, which means that on average companies destroy 15% of stock every year, and that's dreadful for the planet and terrible for cash flow, and that's what's not for me.
Harvey, what do you think?
I mean, I agree with both of them, obviously, but my heart would probably be integration, so ease of integrations into multiple different platforms. We sort of always lean on best of breed approach for businesses, so having that ability to just easily integrate into the best of breed platforms, use an API or whatever that might be, I think that's definitely sort of hot. For my not, it's quite a few, but probably the one that frustrates me the most is manual processes, right? So when business come to us and they're going through still very manual processes, which you shouldn't be doing that in 2024. But it's surprising how many businesses still are doing that. So it's similar to what Ollie just said about sort of the spreadsheets and the lack of data. So them two.
Cool. Guys, first of all, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. For anybody listening, check out Inventory Planner. We're going to do a lot of future partnership activities from both our ends to kind of promote this partnership all together, to bring the value of that data, of inventory data back to retailers. Thank you again for your time. I appreciate it a lot. And another partnership chat closed. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for having us, Stefan.